So, I'm not gonna lie about this one, everybody. People might not like what I'm about to talk about, and I'm worried. I don't know why. It's like sometimes I feel like I shouldn't make a video on something, and then I really feel like it's just it bothers me. This is one of those things that actually is kind of starting to bother me, and I wanted to talk about it because I feel like I want to be heard, just in case someone else feels like I do. That way we can like just be like, hey, this is something we feel, we can express it. Freedom of speech, I suppose. USA rules, whatever. I'm really upset with the state of gaming right now. And I've seen a lot of videos on it. I try not to watch any other videos before I make a video on it. That way my thoughts are my own thoughts and I'm yapping about my own thing. But I really wanted to talk about this because I've constantly gotten into arguments about it, and I wanted to put my opinion on video games and gaming on the internet as a small content creator. So please hear me out and let's talk about this. I used to actually be a very big person into thinking that video games right now are just a process of evolution that we ourselves as a consumer base have basically asked for. Premium subscriptions, battle passes, they're just things that we've all kind of dealt with. Pre-ordering bundles, $60 DLCs, those are things that we've all constantly been like, this is what we need to put money on, like this is just something as inflation increases, this is what we need to be putting our money into. I just spit all over my hand. That was disgusting. Not as disgusting as corporatization. Actually, I almost said corporate factions. Jesus, I need to stop playing Star Wars Old Republic. What I'm talking about is nothing, and I guess my summarization right now, and I know it's hard for me to get it out, is AAA title games, big company games, they're not good anymore. There are some, gems in between it. Baldur's Gate 3, Remnant 2. There are some decent games out there that function properly. But that shouldn't be something that we should all praise. Helldivers is a good game, and I know that everyone is like foaming out the mouth over Helldivers. But the fact is, this is a fact. You spent $40, maybe $50, $60 on a game that you could not play for a couple days. For a day, at least. At minimum. I beat Helldivers. I'm the max rank in Helldivers. I love playing Helldivers, but I literally could not play Helldivers recently because the servers weren't working. And to some extent, that is not anyone's fault besides, it's no one's fault. It's just the servers. But at what point is that acceptable? What point are we as a consumer allowed to not like something because it doesn't work? I heard the new game Nightingale came out and that there was already a bug on release about it not working. You literally couldn't go forward into the game because there wasn't a portal that couldn't be activated. It was a bug. Well, the game was $30. I mean, it was still money out of your pocket that you are not getting back unless you refunded it. And some people played too long, so you couldn't refund it. So now you were stuck with a game that you could barely play. But those are just bugs that are in a game. And of course, the argument you hear and the argument that I hear all the time is they're in early access. John, quit being a fucking doobie schnoopy. They're in early access. These games are not going to be functional in early access. Well, have you seen Steam? Matter of fact, on this video, I'm live. I'm going to go onto Steam, and I'm going to type in, I'm going to type in early access. I don't know if that sounds stupid, but we're going to type in early access. Probably, I wonder, early access. If you type in early access, which I'm pretty sure there is a whole thing about it, there are 8,000 games on Steam that are in early access. And let's do highest price. Well, the first few are like $200. So those are not what we're talking about. Let's do user review. Okay, here we go. But there are so many games nowadays. There's so many games on here. Of course, it could also be labeling them as early access. So some people are probably going to put the argument that if you type in early access, a lot of games are going to pop up in early access because they used to be in early access, but now they're not. Which, in the case of if they are no longer in early access, that's fantastic. I support that case. I support those arguments. Dude, I had to cut the video. I had something came up. So I had to cut the video. Anyway, if a game is no longer in early access, I entirely support that. If it was in early access and they worked on it and it's no longer in early access, $30, that's fine. But in my personal opinion, And this is where I'm probably going to step away from everyone else. And I know I'm going to sound like a crazy gumbo. I'll admit it, I might sound a little wild. If you're going to make a game in early access, you should make it cheaper than buying an actual game. Like, I mean, maybe $10. Because if this game is going to be experiencing bugs, you cannot guarantee that my experience is going to be absolutely amazing. Because I've been told a million different times that there is no way for a game developer to release a game and that game be exactly how they imagine it because there are some unforeseen bugs. Those are not my words. That is what I've been yelled at and screamed at multiple different times. I put that on my mother. It has happened. So, just for the sake of the argument, why should people have to spend $40 for something that sometimes won't even work or function? I even pay, like, games like Payday 3. Like, Payday 3 came out and it was hot dookie garbage. And that game disappeared and they wanted, what, $40-$60 for it? What? What? That's just stealing money at that point. I mean, at what point is, like, whenever we spend money on a game, is it robbery? Of course, the argument could be made. You, as a person, are buying a game. You are buying this game. You have the option to refund it, but, like, I understand the sentiment of gaming is, like, in the corporate world, gaming isn't just playing a video game. It's money. You're putting money in your pocket. It's what, you know, what life is. And life is a business, and that's what gaming is now. It's a business. But what happened to people really enjoying making games? What happened to AAA companies releasing games like, I don't know, Halo Reach, Black Ops 2, you know, oldie but a goodie, Overlord. Now, some games just had their own feel because the team that designed them really wanted those games to be magical, something amazing that you could enjoy playing. That's why I feel like right now we are in a game drought. We have been in a game drought. I mean, look at Baldur's Gate 3. That game is a fucking masterpiece, you know? And it stands out entirely because it's something that a lot of people wanted. A good, playable, non-buggy, fantastic storytelling game with extreme replayability. That's all gamers want, is something that they can sit down, spend 2 hours playing, play it successfully, and not have to worry about glitching through the wall or jumping through Narnia just to play the fucking thing. I don't think I should have to spend $70 on a game. And this one's gonna be crazy. I know. Please put your pitchforks down. All right. I can't. I'm scared to say this, but I don't want to have to spend $70 on a game and then verify my files and then try to sit through loading screens for hours and hours at a time just to play a game and then get kicked out and then go back and to play, you know, just go back in the loading screens. Settle down. I'm sorry. I know it's offending you. Please. I just work here. I'm just trying to express myself. If you get my point, then you'll understand that I'm not saying this as like, gaming companies are so stinky. It's just, I wish that, and then I might be, you know, expressing my point wrong, and I'm sorry about that. But what I'm trying to say is I really wish that video games, they just felt more sacred. And I just feel like I personally, this is kind of an announcement, I suppose, I'm not going to be looking at AAA companies anymore. I'm not going to be trying to mess with anything, except for Mass Effect 4. I'm praying BioWare you don't fuck it up. If you fuck it up, then I'm done with AAA titles entirely. But I'm done looking for those kinds of companies. I can't anymore. It hurts. It really does, because you get a game, it's not playable, it's awful, you can't play it for a while. So I'm done buying games as soon as they come out. I'm done spending my money on something that I want to be really good. I'm just going to wait. And if I'm behind a couple months on a game, that's fine. I have more fun playing Star Wars The Old Republic than I have in a long time. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I know a lot of people don't like it. It's subscription-based. Yeah, well, the subscription is $15 a month, which is half the price for some of the games that hardly function. It has a great story, plenty of hours worth of content, and I don't need to worry about getting harassed. There's not a toxic community involved in it. The servers don't crash a million times out of the day. And I know that, but that's just my opinion. And this is all just my opinion. And I know you might not like it. And if you don't like it, I'm very sorry. And you are within all rights to disagree with me. But I just like good games. Like the writing is great and someone put their heart and soul into it. Or they're not trying to sit down and make a shit ton of money through microtransactions. I feel like we're stepping out of microtransactions a little bit. With Suicide Squad and Helldivers, you could only spend like $50 at a time, and though that isn't like a lot, it felt a lot better than having a $100 option shoved in your face. Unless it was a manipulation tactic, then shame on you guys. That's stinky. That's very stinky. And props to Helldivers, because you could get in-game currency that you could spend your money on. They were pulling a Warframe, and they did a damn good job at it. But a lot of people don't really understand the power of gaming. Gaming is something that I feel like everyone, no matter what you look like, no matter what you sound like, no matter what you, like, you know, anything about yourself, you could be the richest person on the planet or the brokest, poorest person on the planet, but you could pick up a controller, you could sit down, and you could play a game online, and it doesn't matter who you are. You can just have fun on that. You can play the My Little Pony Simulator 5 million. I promise you someone's out there wanting to play with you. There's every type of game on this planet, but the ones that make us all really freaking happy are the good ones. And this whole thing was just me saying that I'm just upset with the state of gaming, because gaming has united a lot of people, and it's been a big inspiration to a lot of different things. I mean, movies are getting made out of video games. Shows have been getting made out of video games. I mean, they're doing something right with these games. It's just, don't lose your touch on it. If one developer sees this and they say, God damn it, hell yeah, I'm going to make a good game, and make it because you want to make it. Don't make it because you want to make money. Of course, I know this isn't the designers, this isn't the developers' problems, this is the corporations, whatever, behind them. But still, like, it's just, right now, there's too much corporate stuff going on. I would just like to sit down and play Mario Speed Racer 4. As long as it functions, it's fun, and it's what the community wants, you did a damn good job. Anyway, I'm just yapping. You could totally hate me for it. You could totally love me for it. It doesn't matter. Yap yourself in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the Twitch and the Discord down in the link of the description below as well. Have a wonderful rest of your guys' night. Peace out.